Hi, everybody. We're halfway through Sunday Salon, and I am just now getting around to recording it. So welcome. If you're watching us on video, we have just done introductions, so you'll have to catch up. But this is a good time to transition into our second round, which is, does anyone, let's just do another round again. And this time I'm going to, start in a different row so people can go in different orders. Does anybody have anything that you're working on that you want to tell us about? If you want to shine on yourself a little bit, if you want to tell us a success or a win that you're having, we would love to celebrate with you. Or if you have a question about your own writing practice or your facilitation of writing, Becky brought up the idea that she's, still having a struggle finding her own niche in this work, and I think there might probably be others who are facilitating or starting to facilitate who might recognize that difficulty. Carol has already spoken to that, but we can certainly have more conversation. So, something you want to celebrate, something you're concerned with or confused about or want some coaching, group coaching on, or, anything else. So I'm just going to see if we can do a quick go round, and if you have something you want to put on the table, just mention it, and then we'll come back around after we know what's what. So Dawn, can we, I'm going to unmute you. Can we start with you, Dawn? Oh, can't hear you. We're not hearing you.
Oh.
Yeah, get closer to your microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, you're scratchy. Try again.
I haven't changed anything.
Okay, can you try your volume up a little bit?
I turned it up, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, so can you?
Yeah, so, I went to case training, and I'm living in Ann Arbor. I'm a librarian, and I've just been here for
Can you speak up a little bit more? We still can't hear you very well.
I wonder why that is. It's very puzzling. I don't know where the mic is or whatever. Okay. Yes. So I've only been living in Ann Arbor for 2 years, and I can you hear me now?
Better. Yeah. Just keep it that volume and we're okay.
And so I don't have a strong, friend network or kindred spirit network yet. So yesterday morning I got up and I wrote a little short email to the people at work who I feel might possibly be, open to something like this, or might know people, or just people who I also felt were sort of like friends. Some of them are our friends, and I attached my little flyer for my training, and I sent it to about 12 people probably, and only one answered, and it's the one who's my friend from college who happens to work here. And I'm doing okay with it. Like, I'm sort of like, staying calm and all that. Because, but for me to even write that email, it was kind of outside my comfort zone, because it was
right.
So I'm proud that I did it, and I don't want to start feeling like bad because if I didn't hear something, what does it mean? So that's kind of where I am. I'm sorry, it's not a great hallelujah or anything, but
No.
Like, I'd love to hear any wisdom that anyone could share.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to come back to that. So it's about how to engage with people, how to get them to pay attention or notice or respond to what you're doing. Is that?
I guess I want to get people to attend my training. So I think, so that's one of the ways. Obviously.
Right. Okay. So,
work and,
Yeah. Okay. So, and also how to avoid the discouragement. How to start blaming yourself, not blame yourself for, all that. Okay. So we will come back to that. Lisa, anything for you that you want to put on the table?
Well, I would echo the need for some support on how to avoid the discouragement. I think, I have things lined up. I'm giving a keynote speech at a conference this Thursday. And at the same time, I feel like a lot of my prep is trying to give myself a pep talk to get back in the game, because I don't have, I have a building practice, but it's slow. And I've been doing workshops prior to the Journal to the Self certification, and I feel like this is a piece that's going to build and bring people in, but I've been doing it for about a year, and it's pretty slow going. And so I think something that Carol said was helpful to me when you talk about like when you started framing it as your reminiscing groups versus the writing groups. I feel like I've had this challenge and this challenge to me as a coach where I shouldn't be leading with my tools, but leading more with like the outcomes. And at the same time, I love my tools. So I feel like I love journal writing, and I feel like other people do too, but I'm not quite sure I'm getting the balance around how much to talk about that versus how much to talk about the outcomes that I offer. So there's something there that I think it's more of the same of what Dawn set up. I'm in the same boat, and I would appreciate any kind of input on that.
Sure. Okay, great.
Yeah, thanks.
Tess, how about you? Anything you want to throw on the table?
Not yet.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Nati?
Maybe, I don't know if this helps Dawn or Lisa in terms of how to make people to feel attracted to our workshops. Obviously, it's always a challenge. What helped me quite a lot was I'm just, throwing kind of a piece of advice if it helps, is basically creating a safe space where people can open up through community building, which is basically what Kay is actually doing right now with all of us through Journalverse. So what helped me quite a lot is because it's very easy to get distracted with your writing prompts in a group workshop because you don't find the time, you're busy, you have lots of things to do. So what helped me personally was to create a 4-week workshop and create subgroups which basically would connect with each other through WhatsApp. Obviously, that was optional. You were not obliged to join a small group, but if you wanted, you could do that. So it basically avoiding that all the pressure falls on me and my colleague as facilitators of this 4-week workshops. So we had this peer group, 5 to 6 people. That really, really helped a lot. So people, when they felt down because they were not picking up, they were not being constant with their exercises or whatever, they knew they can go to their small group of participants and colleagues, and that would help them be more engaged in the training in terms of how to, and that really worked well. But still, it's a challenge, going back to Donna and Lisa, about how to find your niche. I think it's a question that has lots of possible answers, but definitely people that have attended your trainings and feel happy and feel connected, and you manage to create a community, they will definitely recommend you or even be willing to come back to future trainings that you deliver, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah. Good. Thanks. And Colleen, anything you want to put on the table?
Oh my God, did I unmute?
Yeah, okay. I unmuted you.
Oh, you unmuted me. Okay. Yeah, I'm listening to everybody, and I'm thinking that whole niche thing can be troublesome sometimes if you have, it can be the opposite, where you have too many doorways, and that may seem, I don't know, silly, but I've taught in this community that I'm living in for 26 years. So I know the kids of the people I taught. I was teaching their kids. I mean, so I know so many people. And then there's church community for spiritual writing. And then there's a big thing I did in my classroom and is now just getting off the ground as a district-wide thing, was mindfulness and mindset. And I'm working on something, a curriculum called When Mindfulness and Mindset Meet on the journal page. Because it does. When you're working with kids, that happens. They start to feel more confident, and then their mindset changes, and they can actually kind of coach themselves through things. So I've got so many things I'm working on. I have the opposite problem, trying to hone in on what should I just concentrate on one thing. And then I think, no, I want to concentrate on just one thing. So that's where I'm at right now.
Got it. Thank you. Yeah. So I am aware that we are, I had promised an off-ramp at the top of the hour, and we're about 5 to 6 minutes out from that. So is there anybody who is, you know, if you're just joining us on the video, I have already had all of my mea culpas and self-recriminations about how clumsy I am at this. So I will get better, but not yet. Not today. I'm wondering if you could just waggle your fingers at me if you're on video, if you need to exit at the hour. Carol does. No, doesn't. Wendy needs to exit at the hour, and Lisa needs to exit at the hour. And
I'm just going to keep coming back and forth like I have been doing.
Okay, that's fine. And Colleen is fine. And how about you, Lori? Are you okay for another half hour, or do you need to exit at the hour?
I was thinking I was exiting.
Okay. And how about
leaving?
How about you, Hannah?
I'm okay. Are you able to see the chat, Kay? Because I responded in the chat.
Oh, you said you're okay. Oh, I can see the chat. Thank you.
Just FYI, yeah.
Another little thing to master. How about you, Nancy? Are you needing to check out? Nancy, are you there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was muted on my end. I scheduled out till about 10 after, so I will have to go at that time.
Okay, very good. And how about you, Becky? Are you needing to go?
I'm good to stay.
Okay, good.
I thought I had to leave, but I got something else mixed up on the dates, so no, I'm good.
Okay, great. So Lisa, Lori, Wendy, and Nancy, I want to give you a chance to just have a word of closing. Leah, are you okay you're okay?
I can stay, yes.
Okay, everybody. So Wendy, I'm going to unmute you. Can you, there you are, you're unmuted. Anything you wanted to say in closing before we say goodbye to you?
Just thank you. I think this is awesome, and I've just started using Zoom because of I also I do poetry peer group through this venue, and we've been using Skype, and I like Zoom better. So this is the first time I've done a whole big group.
Yeah,
and I like it better than the Skype.
Yeah,
and what do I want to? I wanted to say something. Oh, in the process of building bridges, which I do in my poet laureate kind of role, I don't do as much in my therapy role because, except with other therapists. But one of the things I could suggest, which I love, is collaborations. And so, oh my God, it's amazing because you build. For me right now, I'm building all these connections with artists, musicians, dancers, and the possibilities are endless. And the amount of groups that could start from that is more than I could handle. So, yeah.
Great, thanks. Thank you, and thank you for being here tonight. I will come back to the collaboration piece. Lisa, anything you want to say in closing, or anything you want to just as you sign out?
I just look forward to connecting and getting to know this community more closely, and all the offerings on the website too. So I'm glad to be here, and I know that the questions I have are ongoing. So I look forward to gathering little nuggets over time. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Lisa, Lori, what would you like to say to us in closing?
Oh, well, it was nice meeting you, and hopefully one of these days I'll get a webcam and figure out how to show my face.
Yeah, that'd be good. And in the meantime, we love having you by phone, so we're very, very glad you're here. Yeah.
Well, so much. It was nice meeting everybody.
It was nice meeting you too. And Nancy, tell us some good news from you, and also what you'd like to say in closing.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for having this format, and I too am starting to use, and I just think it's a great way to see people, and I suppose just as a word of encouragement, even though I've been doing this work a long time, I feel like I have to constantly reinvent myself and refine the market, so I just don't ever feel complete or done with that. And I don't know if that helps anyone, but that's a work in progress.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So for those of you, did I miss anybody who needs to check out? For those of you who do need to leave, stay as long as you can. And then when you need to leave, we will fondly say goodbye. So.
And thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
So let's see. We are, oh, Colleen's back up in a different row now. That just changed the entire energy. So where are we? Let's go to, Tess doesn't have anything at this point. Nati, we talked with you. Colleen, you were talking about too many doorways. Hannah, how about you? What's up with you? Anything you want to put on the table or tell us about?
It's a question. I know you're exploring how you want to have the content for this salon, which I think is a wonderful idea. Would you consider maybe for the next one doing some writing a little bit, perhaps?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that'd be great. We could do a little writing group. Sure. You bet.
That's
that would
my
be fun.
offering for today.
That's a wonderful idea. Maybe we'll end with kind of a quick little write. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Let's see. I've sort of lost track of my notes too. So Leah, I don't think we had heard from you yet. Anything you want to celebrate or, oh, Leah, anything else for you that you want to talk about right now?
Well, again, just encouragement. Some of the people are no longer on the call, but working with clients from this community, it's very common for it to take time and several different ways of building your practice. It will come. And so we are here to support you. And, we're really pioneers, aren't we?
Yeah.
We are people doing something unique. And so we have to find more than one way to convince people of the benefits of what we do and as well as the outcomes. So keep that in mind. And for Colleen, I think I know what you mean about finding one thing. And it really was because I was in this community, this is years ago, that I said, I want to take what I've learned about writing and somehow find something about transitions. There wasn't anything out there. So I did it.
Yeah.
And that's because of the impact of this community and the freedom that you have to find your path and do something unique with this writing. So, everybody has those down times, but it is going to happen. It's a slow process.
Yeah. Yeah, I really want to echo that and say that for me, it's like literally one foot in front of the other. Every day I get up and do my work, and there's always work to do. I sometimes volunteering. Now there's a balance between, not charging for your work and because because you think nobody wants to pay for it, and not charging for your work because you are feeling drawn to be in service to someone or some organization or some group of people who need you. So, I don't know if I told this story in the last ICT about the instructor certification training that Dawn and Lisa were in, but I had a contract with one of the local hospitals that lasted for 12 years, that started with me doing pro bono work because I was funded through a grant, but the grant money that they had planned on for my group, my first group, didn't come through. And so the clinical supervisor told me, called me one day. She had been my clinical supervisor at the hospital I had worked in most recently, and she had moved on to a different hospital. I'd gone into private practice, but she called me, one day and said she was in charge of the HIV/AIDS program at a time when that was an automatic death sentence and not a long-term chronic illness. And she said, "Can you do a writing group for the HIV/AIDS guides?" And I said, "I'd love to." So then she called me later after it was all set up and said, "I'm sorry, we can't have you do it because we don't have any money." And I said, "I'll do it anyway, because why not? It's like it needs to be done, and I'm ready, and you're ready, and they're ready, and let's do it." That turned into, that 10-week group that I volunteered to do, turned into a 12-year contract. And so one of the most important things I can offer, I think, to this conversation is that when you have a real clear certainty about not only who you are and what you bring, but also what the work is and what it does, that conviction will carry you a very, very long way. Or at least it has carried me a very, very long way. There's not a day that goes by that I question the validity of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And that is unshakable in me. I will never not believe in the power of writing for healing, growth, and change. It just will never happen because it's always there. So, the world is hurting and we can't do this work fast enough. We really can't. And I get discouraged sometimes, and then I say to myself, I don't have the luxury of discouragement because it's too, which is not to say that discouragement isn't a completely normal feeling. I feel discouraged and I also get back to work. I take the next step. It's like an accumulation. Sometimes it's inch by inch, but if you are constantly holding the vision of what it is that you want to be, do, and have in the world, and you are constantly taking a step, any step in the direction of that vision, no matter how small, no matter if it works or not, because if it doesn't work, you can avoid doing that again, or try it again in a slightly different way. But it's really, there is no fast track to this, and there is no easy answer to this. And, I wish I could say that we're all going to get rich really fast, but I can't say that. I mean, I could say that, but it would be dishonest and out of integrity to misrepresent that aspect of it. What I can say with absolute conviction is that, each and every person who is drawn to do this has gifts and resources and talents that are unique. And also, they are unique at the same time that they are part of a collective. The concepts and principles that we live and study and work by are, we share the same values, all of us, in some way. We share the same values, and we know what matters. And what we can agree on is that healing is a right, not a privilege. And that writing is one of the things that can help us heal in a way that doesn't require, that keeps it pretty self-reliant. And there's always help available. So that's my little 2 cents worth on that. And Becky, I want to respond specifically to you. I was so moved by what Carol said to you about how her relocation really mattered, because I know that one of the things that you have been struggling with in the last couple of years is that you just don't feel like you're in the right place.
Right.
And I'm wondering if that feels to you as if it's part of the struggle you're having. And also, you disclosed, for those who are seeing us for the first time, after our introductions, you disclosed at the beginning of the call that you are blind. And so the people that you would be working with, you have attempted working with in the past, have also been visually impaired or have had some other. So can you just say a little bit about that and where you are with the, you know, the sighted population and the non-sighted population in terms of your work or your proposed desired work?
Let's see. I am part of 2 writing groups that are blind people, and I have been deciding to work with, well, let me back up. I still have my sight that's sort of hanging around my ankle like a big, I'm not sure if it's a ball and chain or whether it's a balloon and it's going to take off and I'm going to go with it. But anyway, it's my Writing for Resilience site, which I have not updated. And I've been thinking about, well, there is so much of a need for resilience in everybody.
Yes.
But I also think that using that site for blind people could be really good, really useful. And then I have my Rebecca D. George site, which I haven't used. I'm just a mess. What can I say? And so I've been thinking of putting more general, you know, like JTTF stuff on that.
Yeah. So you have a couple of places where you could gather people and form a more structured and not structured necessarily, but a more formal community. Is that what I'm hearing?
Right. With the blind people, some of them are internet savvy and some are not. So that's something I have to work out. Because with a lot of people, just as with this call, am I the only person here besides the 2 of you?
No. There's Carol and Leah and Nati and Tess and Dawn and Colleen still here and Hannah.
Because I've sort of lost track of who's.
Some people signed out, but no, we still have. Right. There's 9 of us now. I'm sorry, I didn't identify that. Yeah.
So you know, I forget what I was saying, but anyway, I've been thinking of doing that and trying to get my websites written. I think for me that is the most daunting thing. Is writing my sites.
The webmaster that I've used for a long time has started doing. She has an ebook that she has just written that I am reviewing for her right now. She's asked me to kind of do some editorial. I mean, just take an editorial look at it, and it's wonderful. But it's about the new iteration of her work as a webmaster, and she's an awesome webmaster. It's
Margaret, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Margaret Rohde. Do you work with her? Okay, so
I've talked with her. Yes.
Yes. So she's got this new thing coming out about storytelling for small businesses, about how the way that you can make your website much more effective is if your website is telling a cohesive, coherent story. And she's got this whole new ebook about it, and it's really quite fabulous. So I really want to support you in this, Becky, and I have a feeling that this community also wants to support you in it. I'm seeing some nods. So you know, I'm going to just invite you to you know, take a deep breath and reach into that deep well of resilience and optimism that I know you have, and know that we're going to get this. You know, there are solutions here, and even though we might not know exactly what they are, I bet we can figure them out together as a.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
I would appreciate it.
Yeah, because there's all kinds of ways that you can teach Journal to the Self. You could have a Journal to the Self class on a teleconference. On a telephone.
Oh, I could? I didn't think I could do that.
Sure, you can do that if you want to.
That solved one thing right there.
But you know, I mean, there's no reason in the world. You're still live, and they're still live, and you're doing it. You know.
Oh, all right.
That's a possibility, and that might even be a better option for you than an online course, because there would be actual community created in the phone
Right.
call.
Depending on, yes, the people, depending on what I was doing, that would be great. I've been asked to do a presentation to a group that's called Behind Our Eyes, and it is a group of disabled writers and about journaling. So I also have a couple of other groups that I'm part of. And so in a way, I've been thinking, listen, these people are right there in front of you,
Yeah, and as hard as this might be for you, and this is for everybody who's having a hard time building a list or making a list or whatever, you've got to ask people for their contact information in a way that lets them know that you're not trying to be intrusive and bossy, but you want to be able to stay in touch with them in case they want to know what you're doing. And so, we all shy away from that and say, oh, if they want to find me, they'll find me, but get their email addresses, let them know what you're up to. In a way that, be upfront and clean about it. If this place doesn't want you collecting email addresses, that's one thing, but you can have a little report that you can offer them as could write a little ebook or something and have it as a bonus when they come to your website and sign up. So anyway, let's carry on this conversation, going forward, and I will hurry up and finish my notes on Margaret's so that she can get it in publication and production, and we can all benefit from it. It's really quite good. Yeah, good. Does that make sense to you, Becky?
Yes,
okay,
it does indeed. Anybody
have any thoughts about that? Did that spark anything for anyone? Anybody have? Yeah, Carol, get up. Can't. Oh, you're muted. Oh, now you're not muted. Okay. Speak up.
I've been just thinking that
that worked.
To follow up on what I said before, pay attention to what people in your community already perceive as a need.
Yeah, that's great. Pay attention to what they already perceive as a need.
And so what I found was the juvenile hall was looking for volunteers, and then I realized somebody's actually teaching poetry writing, and that was when I sent in information. I got an immediate reply. We are so excited to know that you are interested in helping, our kids. So it was so easy, Now, yes, it's volunteer, but it's okay because it's okay. It's an important, when you think about their kids and what they've been through. I'm very, very happy to just go, regardless. The money is immaterial in that situation.
Yeah, thanks, Carol. Yeah.
I wanted to say something, if it's okay.
Oh, please, Tess.
Okay. Well, like I said, I was feeling a little out of my element because I'm not a professional. But the fact is, we are all human.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing I noticed in when I first located this group, it's that you embrace someone because they're human, because they are hungry, because they are seeking. And that gave me the courage that I needed to reach out and say, okay, I'm not a professional, but I might just explode if I don't push that button. You know what I mean? To find your people, to find a place where your passion can just explode. And I guess what I was noticing on the different comments, dealing with, finding your niche and for your professional world, was that you're building a community. But the fact is, I found this community because of an author. Well, I didn't know her and I didn't know you. But the fact is, what I'm trying to say is it's a building community that is happening on a global.
Yes.
It's happening on a global scale.
Yeah.
People are being drawn to their passions. They're being drawn to the healing and the wholeness that they've been hungering for longer than they can remember. And so this community is a huge, I don't know, I just feel like it's a huge thing because you are drawing more community and you're going to be touching lives. Even as what I wanted to do is say thank you to you professionals, because of people like you, I have begun to find things that I needed so that I can express what I need to do, whatever's in my heart, to share with other people, whether I teach a little kid, that I find at the library or whatever. But it's that human connection is what I'm trying to say. You're making human connection, and it's a growing global thing.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much, Tess. Thanks.
Kay, am I muted?
No, you're fine. Talk to us.
I was going to say that's very inspirational, what she just said.
Yeah.
And she's eloquent and inspirational, and I could hear how strongly she felt it, and that's wonderful.
That was Tess. So yeah.
Yes.
Great. Thanks, Becky. Hannah, I think I have some notes here, and I'm not sure that I got to you in that last round of, do you have something you'd like to celebrate or something you'd like to put on the table? I'm sorry.
I put on, excuse me, I put on the table.
Oh, yeah, that's right. To do a writing group.
But I will add something, because I find sometimes when you say something out loud, it kind of motivates you to keep it going.
Right.
I've been working on writing a memoir about my 5 years of service with the veterans, as a poetry and art facilitator. And since it's been about a year since I got the main first draft, I've been working on it all year, but I'm plunging back into it vigorously because that is my passion and that is what I want to be doing now. And I feel it's the right thing to be doing for me. And I just wanted to add, for many of us, when we're in a transition and we're not quite sure what direction we're going, what I've learned so far is if I go back to my first loves, which is creativity, art, and basically art, music, and writing, that's where I feel most comfortable and most at home. And so that's where I'm taking my intuition, and I'm following that as I transition into whatever the next transformation is. So
great. Thanks, Anna. Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, we are almost at the end of our time. I think we have about 10 minutes left, and so that's probably a good time to start our checkout round. I also just want to, going back to the discouragement theme for just a minute, Deborah Ross, the brilliant Deborah Ross, with whom I co-authored the book Your Brain on Ink, which is all, she's the brain, I'm the ink, but she's the ink too, so I really am. Anyway, Deborah, if she were on this call, would remind us that the brain, for survivalist purposes that go back way, way, way beyond anything we have any control over, is Velcro for the negative and Teflon for the positive. So of course, if there's any hint of something to get discouraged about, our wiring tells us that that's the safest and best and most reliable thing to do. We have to constantly confront that in ourselves and in our culture and with each other, and have people in our lives who are willing to tell us the truth and say, knock it off. It's not true that just because you only got one response to your email that nobody, that's just not the case. That is assuming facts that aren't in evidence, that that it's assuming that there's something happening that you're making a story out of that may not be an accurate story. And so, I can't tell you how many times, I have read my evaluations for a workshop or something I've just done, and everything's fine until I get to the one that says, I was sort of tempted to fall asleep once or twice, and I just internalize that and go nuts. It's like, oh my God, I'm boring. One person out of 50 thinks that I had a comment like that, and that's the one I focus on, not the other 49. So it's totally normal. I mean, for me, it's totally normal. I'm assuming that I can globalize that. But it's also part of what we have to be aware of as we develop our own resilience in this work, is that we're not always going to have outcomes that match our hopes and dreams. That doesn't mean we failed. It just means that our outcomes didn't match. And so, be realistic about that. It's not the case that the sky is falling. It just isn't, and tomorrow is another day. Cultivate that one person who wrote back and ask if that person would, just treat everything as an experiment of one, just be kind and gentle with yourself. And have somebody have a place where you can go. I love Nati's idea of small groups, and in this community we can have little study groups or buddy groups or whatever. And that's part of the reason I want to come together on a call, a video call, at least once a month, is so that we can have things that a place where we can share and talk about these things and also write. So with that said, I'm going to be quiet now and let everyone have a chance to say, something that you want to say in closing to the group. So, Dawn, we can't. Your mouth is talking, but we can't hear you. There you are. We can hear you now. Oh no, we can't. Can't hear you. Yeah, you're better. Say something.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay, talk louder and we'll be there.
Okay, I've got it on the highest volume, but my husband.
Okay, that's okay. Just increase your own volume a little bit and we'll be fine.
I just want to say a really heartfelt thank you to everybody, because I really appreciate all the suggestions, and I know you're right. And even as we've been talking, like, other ideas have popped into my head. Next time we do this call, I'm bringing a notebook, because I didn't bring one this time. And I keep thinking, okay, now you got 4 things to remember. You want to remember that book, and you want to,
Yeah.
I'm really excited. And yeah, if this one, it's partly because the end of the year is coming, so I really wanted to do that one training in November. But it may not happen, and if it doesn't happen,
Well, another thing you've got in the Journal to the Self bag of tricks is the 3-hour holiday gifts from your journal. So if you just sign up with go find a bookstore, find an independent bookstore and say, I have this awesome little 3-hour workshop that you could have all your people come to. Holiday gifts from your journal, dead easy, so simple, really fun. People love it. There's a curriculum. I'll get you that curriculum if you don't already have it.
Okay.
So great, thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. I look forward to the next time.
Yeah, Hannah, what would you say in closing?
Just thank you. Nice to meet all of you. And I love this community, and I look forward to many more meetings.
Thank you, Hannah. Becky, how about you?
Well, I also love this community and like hearing everybody, and can't wait till the next time.
Great, thanks. Colleen, unmute. Oh, you're muted.
There I go.
There you go.
That's ditto. I really enjoyed this. It was good seeing everybody's face, and it's always fun being in a whole room full of writers.
Thanks. Yeah. Nati, you'll need to unmute. There you are.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kay, for having me and for having all of us. I think it's been a great inspiration for those of us that feel a little bit far away and not having the opportunity to connect with like-minded professionals working on therapeutic writing or expressive writing. For me, it's just a great opportunity. I'm leaving this call with more curiosity about reading the books, the pending books that are waiting on my pile, and hopefully join one of your virtual trainings next year at some point.
Wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you.
So glad you're here. Thanks for representing the international community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Anything you want to say in closing? All right, Tess, are you?
Yes, I just want to say a heartfelt thanks for making me feel so welcome and included. And I'm leaving this call with a whole new outlook, like a reframed idea of how to view myself as my own clientele.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah.
And Sandy would be very happy that you use the reframing concept.
Right. Yeah, that's where that came from. But yes, to reframe my thinking that, oh, I'm nobody, I'm just, I'm not a professional. No,
Great.
You know what?
Good.
I am my own best friend, and I am my
There you
own
go.
clientele. And you have talked about so carefully about personal development.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where, all of us are headed, whether we're helping other people or just ourselves.
Absolutely.
And in the end, we all help someone.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much.
And it starts, the place to start is a peaceful heart with yourself. Yeah, it starts with your own work, always.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thanks. Can't help somebody unless you can have helped yourself already.
Right.
Carol, thank you, Tess. Carol, sign out for us in your big voice.
All right. I would like to say, especially to Tess, I'm not a quote professional either, but I think what binds us together is that we are women, I guess we're all women right now, who really we want to live in love. I mean, that's a higher calling.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we get paid for it or not is really irrelevant. I really believe that with all my heart.
Yeah.
It's just irrelevant. The money has to come from somewhere, but as long as the money comes, living in love is what my calling is, and I bet it's yours too.
It is. Motherhood didn't pay that well either. If we're honest.
Thanks,
Carol. In the end, high dividends.
Yeah. Leah, you get the last word except for me.
Okay. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right. As I listen to you, I just feel so reinvigorated. And I think we not only have a community, we have a tribe of people.
Yeah.
And I would encourage you to hold fast to that vision, because honestly, the more I do this work, the more I am convinced with my entire being that the world needs what you have to give. Mm-hmm. Each one of you. Yeah. I say that with certainty, working with so many people who are doing this work. So hold fast to that. Let's support each other. Let's do the comforting and uplifting and occasionally the reality check, because we all need that. So, and thank you, Kay.
Well, you're welcome as always. And thanks to each of you. We wouldn't be this without you. I spent my first years being kind of lonely because I didn't have any colleagues. I didn't have peer groups. And then all this happened. So it takes all of us. And I appreciate that these of us were together for this call. And thanks to all of you who are watching this. We hope you'll join us again. And I'm going to be setting up some new member orientation video calls, which will be open to old members too. But I just want, the new people who are coming into the community to have an opportunity to, meet each other and feel welcomed and just sort of have that personal touch. So you'll be seeing more of these. Jump on as many as you want. It's not a one-time thing. And then the Sunday thing will be coming later. And I love Hannah's suggestion of doing writing groups. And those of you who are facilitating, perhaps we might, have a little peer group exchange where you can bring a poem or something, and we will share it and have a good conversation about it and do some writing, or we might just write. So, if I had actually thought this through a little better, I would have a poem to end with, but I don't. So I'm just going to do one from Mary Oliver. It's very short. It's called At Blackwater Pond, and it goes like this. At Blackwater Pond, the tossed waters have settled after a night of rain. I dip my cupped hands. I drink a long time. It tastes like fire, leaves, stone. It falls deep in my body, waking the bones. I hear them deep inside me whispering, "Oh, what is that beautiful thing that just happened?" Thank you. Thank you for making a beautiful thing. We'll see you all later. Bye-bye. Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.